Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Let's take a minute to close our eyes and let's just spend a moment just being in our breath and in our body. Taking a long breath in and taking a slow breath out. Let's take a deep breath in, followed by a quiet breath. Let's just spend a minute here honoring ourselves, honoring whatever comes up, and bringing in presence. Regardless of what was happening, even a few minutes prior to our gathering, let's leave that outside the door right now. Taking a slow, deep breath in. Taking a long, slow breath out. Let's just be here for a few moments and be quiet in stillness, regardless of everything that's happening outside of us. Seeing for a moment if you can actually spend a minute stilling your body, even if you're making lunch right now. Seeing if you can take a moment to take your focus inside, even if you're driving. There you go. Good. Really nice. Take a few more breaths. Taking slow, quiet, connected breaths. Maybe soften your forehead, letting the jaw unclench. There we go. Nice. As we practice being here. Yeah. Beautiful. Nice work. When you're ready at your own pace, you can wiggle your fingers, roll your shoulders, stretch your arms, and go to open your eyes. Reminding everyone it's so great to see some familiar faces, some newer faces. Thank you so much for honoring me and honoring yourself and spending an hour on December 3rd with yourself and with a group of like minded folks. So, welcome. For those of you that are newer to me, which really isn't that many people today, though there's a few people that are near to me. Hi, I'm Dr. Divi. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to spend an hour together talking about the Inner Temple Awakening. I think you can probably see my slide. Give me a thumbs up. You can see my slide. Inner Temple Awakening. You can see that. Thanks, God. Okay. And so I sometimes when I teach, I create a slide deck to keep you present. It doesn't mean you can't talk. It doesn't mean I don't answer questions. Please use the chat box, throw your hand up. I will have a time period in here where we'll just do Q&A and seeing if anything's coming up. Might something, might not. For those of you who don't know, I just finished teaching a 12-week class called the Divine Mother class. And this is the Inner Temple Awakening is the words I'm using to describe the work I'm going to be doing next year as well as to help us through the holidays as we transition into the end of 2025, 2020. Yeah. Anyways, into the next year. Okay, let me just start my slides. So you can tell my brain is not attached to my body today, which is fine. All right, so welcome. Thank you again for being here. Like I said, we're going to be together for about an hour. And I'm hoping that in this time together, like we did in that meditation, even for 1 nanosecond, if you can quiet the mind for just 1 second. There you go. Good. And if you can bring your presence even for 1 moment here. There. When I ask you to do that, it's because the mind is going to go, "Duh, duh, 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 duh. Where's my lunch? Where's my breakfast? What do I have to do?" And that tick list never ends. So by giving yourself that even nanosecond of bringing awareness here, you're giving yourself a massive gift. So thank you for doing that. So in the time we're together, we're hopefully going to create a space of more peace, of more harmony, of more connection and love. I mean, especially, technically kind of holiday season, kind of. And so sometimes the holidays, even if you're not thinking about it, can be mixed in with a lot of frenziedness, right? So I have this week, I have next week, and then I'll probably do one the following week, like the week before Christmas. And so these are just to kind of get us kind of balanced. I might do one the week between Christmas and New Year's. I haven't had the intuitive nudge yet. So let us just kind of be together, at least for this hour, in a little bit of peace. So that's my next slide saying. So hopefully we can spend this time together in what I call a sanctuary, where there's nothing wrong, because there never, ever, ever anything is. And we can be in this place where we welcome ourselves, our stories, our pains, but also our love. We often forget that key part, the love. And when we do that, we can welcome in her presence. So I know we did a beginning meditation. Let's just drop into another one. Again, if you're driving, keep your eyes open on the road. But if you can for a moment, just close your eyes and center. With your eyes closed, soften the shoulders down. Let your hips and pelvis settle into your chair. And just spend a few moments here in deep, quiet breath. Let's go on a brief but beautiful mental journey together. Welcome in breath and welcome in presence as you breathe. Nice. With the eyes closed, take yourself into a beautiful, beautiful space in nature. This may be a place you visit often, or a place in your own home. The most important thing about this space is you have a deep sense of safety and comfort. Comfort and safe. And breathe here. Once you find that space, look around you. Asking yourself, what do you see? Noticing, what do you hear? What do you smell? In your safe and comfortable place, and just keep breathing. Slow breath in, long breath out. Just keep breathing. Once you're in this space, feel your body safe and comfortable. Good. Comfortable and safe. Just keep breathing. Out of the corner of your eye, there's someone or something that begins approaching you. There's absolutely nothing scary about this experience. This is your wise guide, your higher self. Welcome them in as your presence and breath takes over. This is the wise guide that has been with you lifetime after lifetime, has given you your gut feelings, your intuitions, your inner nudges. Welcome them in. And breathe. Now, your mind might think you're making it up, but you're not. Beautiful. Nice work. Now, welcome in the presence of the Divine Mother. For some of you, she may look like Mother Mary. For others of you, she might be Goddess Lakshmi, Kuan Yin, Durga, whoever, Mary Magdalene. It doesn't matter who you choose, and you may not even know, and that's A-okay. Let's just be present that there's an energy of unconditional love that is available for you. Bringing her presence. Nice. There you go. Good. Keep breathing. Now, for the last part of this meditation, I would love you to imagine that she's not only outside of you, but she's also inside of you. There you go. Bring her presence into your heart. Nice work. Gorgeous. Noticing maybe your shoulders soften a little bit. Your fingertips might curl a little bit. But there's a deep awareness of her presence of unconditional love. As you just keep breathing. Nice work. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, you can start to very slowly start to return to the room. Wiggle your fingers, roll your shoulders, stretch your arms. And go to open the eyes when you're ready. Let's use the chat box. Share, what did you notice? What did you not notice? Did your mind think you're making it up? How was that for you? Just give you guys a minute to share on the chat box. Feeling of comfort and ease. I imagine the guide to be all goddesses rolled into one. I love that. So love that. Beautiful. I also want to share. What did they see? What did they sense? Was there resistance? Calming. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So the Divine Mother for a lot of us is a newer concept, a newer idea. Got it? But the more we work with her, the easier it gets. And I'll go to my next slide in a second. I want to share. I have a pain in my jaw on the left. It was very calming. Love that, Haley. So something in you is gripping. That's the jaw is telling me. When you mentioned Durga, I felt a rise and shivers in the presence of my left shoulder for Mother Mary. I was able to be present. Beautiful, Presley. Love that. All right, so let's work with her for the rest of the time we're together and see what happens. Okay. All right. So when I teach, just so you know, she is fully present. And then I'll ask her, should I keep going? And she's like, yeah, keep going. So if you hear me say that, it's my chatter with her. She's like, yeah, they get it. Keep going. All right. So the Divine Mother, she represents the energy of unconditional love, infinite compassion, a deep sense of presence. She lives in our heart and she can see the pain you're in, and she's also able to heal the stories. But here's the deal. By the law of free will, we have to go to her for relief, but she will never intercede without our request. Got it? And sometimes we know that she's there in our heart, but we actually don't know what to take to her. And we'll talk about that in a second. Because we say we know, like Haley said, she has some jaw pain and she wants to take it to the Divine Mother, but we don't know what to take to her. I saw this in my group coaching last night. There were two people there who had things going on and they took them to the Divine Mother and nothing shifted. And then when I took them through it, it shifted. So you have to know, it's like an onion layer, right? We have to know what to take to her because by the law of free will, she won't be like, okay, Michaela, bring that to me. Intuitively, you have to go, okay, take that. And if it doesn't shift, let me try this, let me try that. And that's a lot of the work I teach. It's like, how can we work with the mind? What do we take to her? Because she can do it in 1 second. And many of you who are on the call live with me right now have experienced that. But you have to know what to take. And that's a lot of the work with the mind that for those of you who join me next year, we're going to be doing together. But she's fully capable. She never leaves you. You don't need to think that she's on lunch break and has forgotten you. She's always there, 24/7. Okay, she doesn't take lunch break. Don't worry. She wants me to add, and depending on the religion, culture you grew up in, you may have little idea who she is, or you might be afraid of her, or the culture of society you grew up in, it sounds so weird. For a lot of us, depending on our religious upbringings, cultural upbringings, societal upbringings, a lot of faiths have masculinized the Divine Mother. And there's no judgment. Please don't hear it that way. But when we connect with her, like, oh. And it really does change things. So just a little heads up on that. Okay. And this is why we want to work, because sometimes we don't know what to take with her. We need to work with our mind and emotions to have a deep understanding of what our thoughts are, what aren't serving us. But we don't even realize where our fragmented thoughts are until we start to like peel them away. And that takes work. Okay. So what is the inner temple? Y'all joined to hang out with me for an hour on the Inner Temple Awakening, WTF Divi. The inner temple is the calm place that sits inside of you. Is the place inside of you that's outside of the ego. Is the center of your mind and heart where peace is right there. Guidance is clear and love becomes your default. It's the place inside of you where there is no fear, anger, resentment, worry. And that exists in us regardless of the story that we've come in with. So again, if you see me nodding, she's like, keep going. I'm like, okay, good, they got it. So why would you want to do this? So let's use the chat box. So if you're not in that space of peace, sanctuary, connection, joy, and love very often, what is going on in your life? And this is more for yourself to like think about your life. Well, you know what, Div? I am in peace all the time. Amazing. Or Divi, you know what? I don't know what the F you're talking about. I'm living in a constant state of anxiety. Please use the chat box. Why would you want to find your inner temple? What are you experiencing in your life right now? And part of the reason I ask that question is because it helps me to navigate the rest of the webinar. So what are you experiencing right now? My mind is chattering all the time. Thanks, Natalie. We got some chatter, and I can totally relate to that one. We got the chatter mind. What else are you experiencing right now in your life? Why would you want to hang out in your own inner temple? What is the contrast you're in? Are you always trying to fix things? I'm in both. Peace feels so much. I'm in both. Amazing. Peace feels so much better. I love that. What else are you experiencing? Mind dominates. Great dominates. Great, Eileen. Great awareness. It's like the constant, like this is. What else? I'm finally seeing that I've got a wall up, thinking everyone wants to fight me, so I need to fight them. Great awareness, Presley. Amazing awareness. And you had to see that, right? Good. Now I also want to share. What are you experiencing right now? I want to get off the roller coaster and to be in a place of calm without fear. Beautiful. Okay. Amazing. So some mixes there, but there's a lot of dominance in the mind is dominating. I'm not in peace all the time. I want to live without fear, strengthening my ability to cope with unpredictability. Great, Michaela. So that's the control freaks in us, right? Because if we have unpredictable childhoods or feeling of wobbling, then we can't handle it. So I love the way you shared that. Okay. She's saying keep going. Okay. So here's my art. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I used this slide yesterday, and I'm just figuring out how to use my stylus. So Divi art. Okay. So what the hell is this picture? So you got a gold picture with an artistic figure. And I'm going to use these definitions in a minute. Joni wrote, still some sort of blame and places I feel stuck against my will. Okay, perfect, Joni. Okay, amazing. So what are these pictures? So the gold circle, I used this in last night's class, which is why I'm repeating it today. The gold circle represents the place inside of you that is connected with the divinity of all that is. Got it? With all that is. It is the infinite energy of the creator. What some humans call God, some people call the universe, some people call the divinity. Let's just call it the creator for this experience. If I use the word God or unconditional love, I'm referring to that circle. Sometimes I'll use the word, it's your upper room. It's the place in your mind that holds deep love and only love. And that's the place we come from. So the creator, regardless of what religious text you study, all of them kind of have the same thinking that the creator represents unconditional love. Is that fair to say? So, thumbs up on that one. Represents this place of unconditional love. Thanks, guys. And then we come from that place to that stick figure. And the stick figure represents the body with maybe a smiley face that we're going to define as the ego. So we'll use that Divi art picture as I start talking. So please remember, gold circle represents your connection to the creator. The stick figure represents the separate you. So let's define these. Okay, some terms. The ego mind, which last night I called the mythical me, that's the stick figure. Okay. This is the part of us that believes we're separate. It's the majority of the mind that runs us in blame, judgment, fear. It creates anxiety, comparison, fear, unworthiness. It's the part of you that's, if you can see your screen, if some of you have the display where you can see each other, you're like, I'm not as pretty as Presley. That's that part of the mind is the ego, the stick figure. She looks at me. It lives in past and future. It's like comparing from grade 10 and future what's going to happen in 10 minutes. It over-identifies with the body. And again, the ego, my favorite definition, is any mental habit of identifying and labeling. So that's the stick figure that we're going to use for today. Okay. And it's not wrong, it's not bad, but it's the mental merry-go-round or the roller coaster that Haley talked about. Is the part that constantly, like Eileen talks about, it's the mind that dominates. And then Michaela, you said it's the part of you that's in control, right? So versus the whole mind, that's the gold circle. The whole mind is a steady awareness of your centered place of love and source. It's the observer, the witness with deep compassion. Is the part of you that can see that you're having an emotional meltdown, but also knows unconditional love. And that muscle of that gold circle, I would say for Divi, I'll tell you very briefly about my own journey, is taking me a while. So I'll try to be really brief here. So I entered kind of spiritual work about, what year is it, 2025? I entered it like 26, 27 years ago through yoga, okay? And the yoga happened because I fell apart, okay? And then from, years in yoga, started meditating, entered the intuition world, got into like teaching intuition, mind and stuff. But this part of my journey has only started in the last sort of 5 to 10 years. Okay. This is night and day to the yoga days. I mean, I still practice yoga, but this is what, most of us have done a yoga class or had a workout or gone for a walk and you feel better. This cements the gold circle in your mind. The mind that is that gold circle that is connected to God, creator, love, that needs repetition to know that that voice is in you. That voice only thinks thoughts of peace, only thinks thoughts of love, only thinks thoughts of joy. Some of you know I have a 12-week-old black lab. Oh, he was up all night last night. I woke up and I looked at him. I'm like, you little bugger, I'm not going to love you today. As I was making my tea, that lasted about 30 seconds. And I think my husband and I figured out what we're doing. So hopefully, cross fingers, have a better night tonight. But it takes time and diligence to create that gold circle in your mind. That circle is in us, but that stick figure of the ego has run us for so long. So, like my slide said, it takes time to create the gold circle, and from the gold circle, get to know the stick figure. Got it? Because it's relation. Like it's like I was sharing in yesterday's class that I spent 2 hours in a deeper healing of my father wound on Sunday, and I was journaling and crying for 2 hours, which was fine. But it wasn't like the tears overtook my body. I was in the gold circle watching myself, but also in the emotions. And that's mastery, right? It's not better, but it's easier. Because otherwise, I've spent days, weeks, months, years in those tears. Right? But there's a mastery level when you can let your body go through it and see you're doing it. Okay. Yeah, she's saying keep going. We're good together? Okay. So the core pain as to why we suffer is because we think the stick figure is really who you are. That's the problem. And I say that with a big smile. I'm not this shirt. I'm not this hair. I'm not my glasses. I'm none of that. Healing is remembering that the whole mind is who you are. That is healing. Is remembering that that gold circle is truly who you are, connected to love. And I can see part of you, and I love all of you guys, just so you know, I can see some of you as an intuitive, some of you are like, yeah, but what about that? What about that bugger? And we'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there. Some of you were like, but Divi, look over there. And cool. We'll get there. But if you want to heal, we have to get to that gold circle. And it takes time and practice. I told you I spent 2 hours crying about my father on Sunday. It takes time and work. And it's like, oh, right? Shifting. So how did the Divine Mother heal? And I think I've got 4 or 5 principles. Number 1, she brings safety. We can't heal in fear. It's impossible. The Divine Mother brings our nervous system back into softness. She heals both worlds. She allows you to feel the emotions without being in them. Okay, that is possible. That's the mastery. Okay. She teaches inner reparenting. She teaches us how to find a warm, firm, unconditional love space for ourselves. She lets us speak to ourselves the way she speaks to us versus how our parents spoke to us. For Divi, my greatest healing of my mother and father wound happened as I've gotten closer to the Divine Mother. Because she taught me how to reparent what my biological mother and father couldn't do. And the ego stick figure in me wants to stay mad at them, wants to stay in the story of it. But she's helped me to reparent that part of me. She guides through forgiveness. Forgiveness is not the excuse, but a return to peace. Because at the end of the day, we want to return to peace. She releases the stick figure in you that's attached to the story, and she then teaches you how to reparent that part. Are we all good? We're all good? Comments, questions, we're good. And the last thing is she recalibrates your mind. She replaces old fears and looping patterns that we might have. Old fears and looping patterns. We go from judgment to compassion, control to curiosity, self-criticism to gentleness. And that last one's really important for a lot of you in the class tonight. Self-criticism to judgment. It's possible. Okay. So let's spend a minute meeting her. We're good. Any comments before I keep going? Okay. Just want to check. All right. Close your eyes. Once your eyes close, just settle into your body and your breath. Take a long breath in. Take a slow breath out. Take a deep breath in. Take a quiet breath out. Let's just spend a moment being here now. With your eyes closed, take yourself back to that place in nature. And let us tiptoe over to where we were a few minutes ago to meet the Divine Mother. This time, if you're open to it, let's welcome in the energy of Isis, who you may or may not know who I'm talking about, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. Even if you don't know who she is, she will enter. She is an Egyptian goddess, and she represents the energy of magic. She knows your truth, your worth, and your wisdom. And invite you to stay here for 5 or 10 breaths. As you breathe, see in this picture where her beautiful brown eyes are piercing yours. There you go. Good, good, good. You don't need to know what she looks like or what she represents. If you allow yourself to be here, there you go, you're all doing it. Feel her beautiful brown eyes enter your eyes. And you might feel the safety. You will feel the connection, the love, and the power. And just keep breathing. Good, really good, really good. For some of you, your shoulder blades have softened down. Others of you, your body has gone into a more state of peace. Just soft. There you go. Soften and keep breathing. She's asking me to ask you to imagine that she's holding a silver platter in front of you. And on that silver platter, I'd love you to place a piece of paper that holds any thoughts of unworthiness or thoughts that you are less than or thoughts that you have messed something up. There you go. Good, good, good. Put them on the piece of paper. Put that on her platter and give it to her. And notice that as you give it to her, notice a part of you, as I'm doing this with you, wants to take it back. Put it on the platter. Good. Now, after you've put it there, you will probably sense, feel, or notice her hand just centered on the back of your body behind the heart chakra. So the mid back. There you go, mid back. And her other hand went on your third eye. Just breathe and soften. Good work. There you go. And she's saying to you, you are not that. You are a child of love, a child of grace. You are infinite beauty and strength. And allow those words and her energy to enter you as you stay here for 5, 10, 20, 30 breaths. And perhaps in your own mind, You're saying a little prayer like forgiveness, set me free from this thought. There you go. I am done with it. And just keep breathing. Slow, deep. There you go. Deep breaths. Noticing if any part of you wants to take the paper back, or if you're willing for her transmission and her love to enter you. Let yourself the grace of about 10 more breaths. And then when you're ready, very slowly, start to bring yourself back into the body, back into your fingertips, back into your breath. There's no rush. Open your eyes when you're ready. Taking a moment to thank her and thank yourself. You can stay here longer if you wish. For those of you who start to reemerge, share in the chat box what you experienced, what you didn't experience, what you noticed, how you are. Give you guys a few minutes. Take your time. Pain on my left side shoulder, that comes on during the resistance. I'll grab that in 1 second, Johnny. Presley wrote, a release and understanding and acceptance through all the contrast. I am okay. The Isis that came through for me had wings and she is very fast. I love that, Michaela. I love that. And just so everybody knows, I didn't know I'd be bringing Isis then, or else I might have had a picture of her up. I had no idea. I took you to medication. Isis said, I'm going to do this work. I'm like, okay. Haley wrote, such a warm feeling on my left side. So it's comforting. So comforting. I almost fell asleep. Yeah. I'm going to grab Joni's question in a second. She wants me to say something. She keeps using the same words. It's the bullshit stories that say we don't count, we don't matter, we've done something wrong that she is trying to take. And that could be the thought of, my weight is wrong. I did something wrong in that job. I should have parented better. All of those thoughts, she is trying to take from you, but she can only take them from you if you're willing to give them up. So those guilt-ridden thoughts are only impacting us. And she's like, they're stopping your peace. And she wants me to say one more thing before I read the rest of that thing. We have to understand that we look like this body that stops at my fingertips, but we are extensions of energies. Got it? And I'm not here and she's there. She is extended through me. And if I want to have a good quality of life, I got to bring her in. Because I'm all about the quality of life I experience, my mind, my heart, and so on. This holiday season, I've got a 20-year-old son. He's coming home for the holidays. He's at university right now. And he's bringing his girlfriend, who I've never met. She'll be here for a week. She's from Florida, but she goes to school in South Carolina, I think. Anyway, so I get to hang out with her for a week. They met in Europe last year. Anyway, so I gotta have the Divine Mother with me to bring me. We don't live in a very big space. To bring in some peace, so bring in some ease. So I can put earplugs in when I walk by his room. That's a joke, but it's like, to get it, I need her. So that if my mind goes to guilt, shame, resentment, anger, whatever, I want peace above all else. So if I think it's all up to me and I don't lean on the Divine Mother, I'm making it harder on myself. And then the ego, my stick figure, wins. But if I use her, it's a guaranteed safety. Got it? Guaranteed. I'm going to read your other comments. Okay. Eileen wrote, resistance sitting in my right knee, but body expanded. Great. And I probably said that because she is trying to move today. Eileen and Joni felt some resistance too. She's trying to move out of us the guilt or the thought we did something wrong. So wherever you're feeling in the body is where you're holding that thought. I felt like crying first when handing the paper, then later received a hug. I love it. She said to you, and she said, it's about time. Give it to me. Been a while since working with Isis. It was like reuniting with a dear friend. I love that. We worked with her in Palm Springs. That's right. Yeah, I didn't know she was going to come through. I had no idea. And Joni, you wrote, so is pain on my left side, shoulder, neck, ear that comes on during this resistance and as resistance to letting go or receiving. Both, Joni, both. Both. But more letting go of any thought that you've done something wrong is the main theme she was working on today. Cool. We're good? Okay. I'm going to keep going. Yeah, she's saying keep going. Keep going. All right. I don't know how many slides I've got left. Let me just double check here. No, yeah, I'm going to pause. Yeah, let's pause. Comments, questions. What's coming up for you? Yeah, she's saying I can do that. Okay. Comments, questions. How are you guys doing? You throw your hand up or just put into the chat box. And then and if there's nothing, I'll keep going. Give it a second. Yeah, Michaela.
I really like how you just said the Divine Mother can't take away like the negative thought loop until I'm ready to give up the addiction to that thought loop.
Totally.
That really
Yeah.
landed for me. I just want,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I know it's crazy because it's like I was teaching a class last night and I was working with a client and having her give up. I think it was guilt. I can't remember. And I watched the client put it on the platter. And then I like just sort of drop it. And then I saw the client want to pull it back up. And I said, I was like, it was actually Haley was in that class. So it was actually quite funny. I was like, I was doing some energy work on her to like get her to put it down. And when she finally put it down, my whole body let go and started hers. Right. But it was pretty powerful because if she's thought the thought of guilt since the time she was in utero, this has been her BFF.
Yeah.
Right. But again, law of free will. The Divine Mother can't go, excuse my language, F it, it's mine. She doesn't work like that. You have to be willing to say, I want to identify without that thought. Who am I? And that can be scary to the ego because that's the stick figure is all it knows. It's its definition.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you.
Are there comments, questions before I keep going? One more second. Okay. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to share what I've got drumming up in the ethers. Before I go to the next slides, let me ask you a question. Do you believe that all of the stick figure thoughts of the ego thought system, fear, anger, worry, resentment, overwhelmment, betrayal, sadness, rage, can shift? Do you believe it's possible to find a place of peace, worthiness, well-being, healing, love more often? Let's say she's saying, ask them, do they believe it's worth it? That's what that they're worth it. I'll see what you guys answer that. Do you believe it's possible? And do you believe do you believe that you're worth it? Do you believe it's part of your incarnation cycle this time around? All kind of similar questions that she wants me to ask you before I go to the next slide. Ask them if they believe A, it's possible, B, they're worth it, and C, that it's part of their incarnation cycle this time around. I got crickets in the chat box so far. Okay, you guys a few minutes to answer that. You don't have to answer them all at once. You can see they're all pretty leading questions. Absolutely worth it. Okay. They're all pretty leading questions. Got it? Yes. Thanks, Natalie. Okay. That was all idea. It's like you have to ask yourself, do I believe I deserve it? And do you believe it's possible? Is it it is totally possible. Sometimes I don't believe it. Yeah, Haley. And then you're gonna want the reason we ask that question is because then we have to give up that thought that I don't believe it. Got it? Great. Yes, but goes against the Catholic story that I should suffer in this life. Yeah. Same with the Hindu story. as an Indian woman, I should sacrifice my life and yeah, same thing. But I have to give that thought up because I don't like that thought, right? Great reflection, Eileen. Great reflection. 100% possible, 50% worth it. If I was acting right that day, I deserve it, right? So Presley is like this inner judge of, yeah, maybe if I'm good that day, kind of maybe sure, right? Kind of like Santa Claus, right? If you're good, then you get it. Possible, yes, not sure if I'm worth it. Wow. Good awareness, Denise. Good awareness. Really, like, you want to look at that. Why aren't you worth it? Right? Like, and just, you hold that right here in the right kidney area, the right lumbar spine area. That's where you hold that thought that you're not worth it. And like, excuse my language, bullshit. It's she wants me to say one thing to everybody. It's a big deal that you're on the planet. It's a big deal that you're in this class. It's a big deal. Right? If you all don't know, but I'll babble for a few minutes, COVID represented the shift into the feminine of the rise of the mother, not just for women, but for men as well. We have a bunch of men on the call today. And it's about healing those stories of guilt, unworthiness, blah, 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 blah. And we can only do it. And so there's a reason you're on the planet in 2020. God, I don't even know what year it is, 2025. There's a reason you're here. There's a reason your spiritual development has taken you this far. There's a reason. So, we don't think we're worth it, but we are. Got it? Because it's your spark. I'll give you one other analogy, and I hope this helps you. God or the creator is this big glass, and it was broken into billions of pieces, and each piece is equally necessary. Got it? And when we think my glass is more important or less important than Michaela's or Chuck's, then we all of a sudden give the ego, the stick figure, that thought. But if we want our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren to have a different experience, then it's and our mothers and ancestors to heal their stuff, then it's up to us to heal our wounding. And now they wrote, actually, sometimes I think there's no rush. If I don't get there this time, then there's the next step. Exactly. That's true, Natalie. I agree with that. 100%. And for me, I think you agree with this. It's the quality of my life this time. Because I don't know if I'm going to 100% there, but it's I'll know from the quality of my life. Cool. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my slides. All right, cool. So they think I went there. Okay. So let's see what the next slide says. So why am I teaching this next year is because right now on the planet, we have a rising degree of anxiety. We're all in burnout mode. What's funny is right before I turn the slide on, my phone just fell to the ground because we have burnout and overstimulation, right? We're all way overstimulated. A lot of us are craving spiritual community and depth. I got into the yoga world when yoga got very popular, 20 something years ago. It's always been around, but really popular in the West. Yoga is like step 1, and this is step 5, if that makes sense. Step 3, step 5. And yoga meditation, not that you have to do step 1 because you don't have to ever do a yoga class. But that's kind of like that stuff on the planet. Why did it get big in the West 25 years ago? Because that's kind of like the precursor to this work. Why are meditation apps so big? Because it's like the precursor to this work. Does that make sense? There's like bigger things on the planetary consciousness as to why things are occurring. We want a return to peace. We want a return to intuition and clarity. We want tools to live outside the cycles of the stick figure. Got it? Because the stick figure thoughts that say guilt, anxiety, anger, worry, those are a choice, but we don't know they're a choice until we open that gold circle. My great drawing. So what do I got? Okay, it's 2026. And this is just questions. I kind of asked this already. Are you truly ready to shift into the glorious remembering of you? The inner temple is the dance and flow through 2026 with greater peace and ease. And when we get into that inner temple more, that's where miracles occur. That's where, because a miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love, but it's not a shift in your mind. It's a shift in the heart. And when we shift in the heart, that shift in perception then opens the door for the miracles. Okay. Because remember, law of attraction got big as well about 20 years ago. So if you look at it from a planetary spiritual consciousness point of view, we went yoga, meditation apps, law of attraction. All of these things have been around forever, don't get me wrong. But why have they had these waves of hugeness? Because the law of attraction showed us that I put this energy out and I get this back, and I hate that concept. But what I'm putting out, what I realize about myself, some of the stuff I'm putting out is from my subconscious and unconscious, it's from my mother and grandmother and great grandmother and grandfather. Like, oh my God. And it's like, wow, okay, have to heal that stuff for the miracles. Got it? Not conscious thoughts, I think. They're sometimes unconscious. So why is all that stuff preceding the work of the mother? It's because it's sort of like we need those basebone like pieces to get to this work. Okay, people want emotional freedom. People are ready to deepen the spiritual path. People who are stuck in fear loops, old patterns. And it's for everybody: healers, leaders, parents, coaches. Anyone wants to master their inner world. That's what this is for. So let's talk about the offers I've got for next year. You might have already seen this in my school community. So we've got the community aspect, which y'all are in, and it's because I only advertise this on my school page. Did a little bit on Instagram, but I didn't send an email about this event. So I have the free community page. I hop on there every now and then. I do like the forgiveness challenge, which you guys just finished. I don't do those every month. I do things sporadically on there. If you look back, you'll see that. Then I've got the next offer is a premium offer. And that's where so one of the ways to make that gold circle, one of the ways, in fact, in Divi's world, the only way to make that gold circle bigger, and I'm sure there's other ways, is a regular daily practice. Got it? So if I want that gold circle stronger, I have to have a daily memory of what that gold circle is. So if you join the premium offer, you'll get daily video lessons from ACIM, stands for A Course in Miracles, where I've taken the lesson and I've taught it on a video, which is anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes long. So if you listen to those videos once a day, and I haven't done today's, I haven't had a chance because I had a late wake up thanks to my dog. So every day, if you join the premium, you'll get the daily lessons. Okay. And in the premium program, you get one recorded call given to you per month. And some people's capacity is that much, which is amazing. And you can join on a month-to-month basis, or you can join for a year, and that's the investment. And that's the US dollars. So it's 33 US per month, or 333 US per year. Now, why we're shifting to US dollars, there's lots of reasons. But one of the bonuses for you guys, so 95% of my business, 99% is word of mouth. I know how I met Chuck. I know how I met Anise. I know who I met Michaela through. Like, it's all like this person told that person told that person. So on this platform called School, they have an affiliate program. So if you want to refer your friend Jill to me and you send them the link, I can show you how to find that link, then you actually get paid. It's crazy. So you get paid for any client that joins and pays my programs. So I have clients I'm in other school communities, so I actually make money off of those, which is kind of weird. But the reason I'm moving to School, I know a lot of my clients are Canadian, and they're like, US dollars. So I've converted from Canadian to US to do this, but you guys get paid in US, if that makes sense. You have to link your bank account to get the money. So if you want to refer clients who join me, you get a kickback. So that's the premium. It's monthly. You get recorded calls. Then this is more my VIP program. And that's like the daily lessons, like every day you get the lessons, like you. Then weekly on Wednesdays, we have calls at 9 a.m. and 5 p.m., like the Divine Mother class. And they're kind of a similar, not exactly the same format, but they're an hour and a half long. They're not an hour, they're an hour and a half. You'll get handouts, written material. There's a buddy support system throughout the year. And if you want to take any of my in-person workshops in 2026, there's a discount of 15%. I've got 7 weekends booked for 2026. The dates are being put on my website soon. And most of them are in Vancouver or Whistler, just for next year. And that VIP is $211 US per month, or $1,400 for the year. That year price changes after the end of January. And then the last offer is my small group coaching. I have 3 groups that will start in January. Right now I have 2, but there's a Tuesday group at 12 and another Tuesday group at 5. And the maximum size of the group are 10. Those 2 groups are focused on relationships and health. And then I have a Friday group that's at 10 a.m. and it's for entrepreneurs. So people who are my small group, the benefit of those, and a few of you have mentioned it to me, it's a lot more of the coaching that I do. It's a lot more of that side of which I don't have the format in the weekly Wednesday calls. Okay. It's just, there's too many people and there's too many questions. So that's why I have the small groups, and they're really well. And that's $700 a month, Canadian. That's Canadian. And it includes the Inner Temple class, and you get lots of coaching, and you get a smaller group of people to hang out with that you fall in love with, and you get a higher discount, 20% off of any programs. So that's a bit about what I've got going on for next year. Okay. And that's it for my sharing. So where I want to kind of wrap and open to Q&A if there are any, is I want to take us into meditation. Let's close our eyes for a minute and just be in our body for a few minutes and go back to the heart and just breathe into the heart. And we're going to go a few minutes over if you guys have the time. Just breathe into the heart. Breathe into the presence of love as we breathe. Breathe into the strength and the knowing of who we are. And stay here for about 10 breaths. We're going to go about 5 minutes over, depending on Q&A in a second. And in a second, when you're ready, you can go and open your eyes and just focus in on any one of the pictures I put up. This is a picture of Isis. These are kind of the classic pictures. There's a whole bunch online. You guys can see that, right? Just make sure you guys can see that. Thanks. Okay, great. And I just want her, there you go. You're doing it. Let her energy penetrate you. Let her worthiness, let her strength, let her knowing of who you are enter you. There you go. And just stay here for a few more breaths. Good. She said, I've entered them. All right. Perfect. All right. Share in the chat box how you are and tell me what's coming up for you. Let's just see what Joni wrote. Joni wrote, I agree that the daily awareness is so important, but the intimacy and one-to-one coaching in the small groups works to help to integrate. I agree, Joni. Joni is in my entrepreneur group. So it's not just theory, it's more practical. Yeah. And that's why I have that small group as well. So thanks, Joni, for that comment. Okay. Any shares, any comments? What's coming up for you guys? Questions? How are you guys doing? And it doesn't have to be about anything. It can be anything. I've got a few minutes. I want to see how you are. How is it to work with Isis for the last few minutes? Was it good? Hey, Presley?
Hey, um, I haven't worked with ISIS since like the retreat, I think. So it was very like whoosh, like this strong, like just believe you're worthy. That was the feeling that I was getting. Um, and what's been coming up for me this week, it was a lot of like recognizing where I'm like fighting. Like I swear it was every day. I was like, I'd feel the boxing gloves up and ready to like scrap anybody that like talk to me. Also, I was like, I just got my period too, so that's probably why I was trying to fucking box everybody. But that I seen it. I kept seeing it. I'm like, oh, okay, okay. And it would take me a while to let go. There was one incident though this week where I don't know what came over me, and I feel like it might have been like Durga, where I was feeling guilted by Coulter's mom
Okay.
about the way I look after this very stubborn dog. And I walked up to her. It just like came out of nowhere. I was like doing something totally different. And I walked into the living room and I'm like, no, you're not going to drop off hay at my house because it's going to get everywhere. And he's going to either eat it and fucking be puking everywhere. And I'm not cleaning it up. Because she takes it upon herself to like drop stuff off against our like training techniques, and it makes so much work for me, but we just kind of let her. And then it just came over me and I was just like, no, you're not doing this. And then she was arguing with me, but I was like arguing back at her, but like very strong. And then after I felt really bad, and my ego was trying to like get into it. But yeah, it was just this weird, like, I'm not doing this anymore. You're not going to make me feel this way anymore. And this is it. This is done. And it was, yeah, it was different. It was different for me.
I love that. I'll say a few things. Beautiful. Thank you, Presley. It's like a lot of us struggle speaking for our worth and our truth without anger because we've been feeling so powerless. So if you haven't heard this from me, teach this before, it goes, now you've heard me teach it. Powerless, grief, guilt, depression, anxiety are down here. Okay. Guilt is kind of the same energy frequency. Rage and anger are here, and joy and love are up here. So most people on the planet cycle between powerless, they go to anger, and then they feel guilty, and then they cycle here. And yet the truth and the knowing are up here. So guilt is something that we're all somewhat unconsciously addicted to. But it's like, wait a second, no, I know I can speak up for myself. I know this is the way to do it. And I put something in this chat box. I wrote nothing to defend. So when you put your boxing gloves down, you see that the stick figure has been busy defending herself for so long, rather than like, no, this is just the way I do it. And then you have to notice the mind that goes to guilt and then forgive that, right? Because there are things that we've learned. I think a lot of women and men, and I can speak a lot for women, our middle name is guilt.
Yeah.
And guilt is the only thing that makes us sick. Guilt is the only reason we get sick. Got it?
Yeah.
And there's a way to live without guilt. Like, I didn't feel guilty for looking at the dog and saying, I don't know about you. This morning I was like, you were a nut bar last night. I don't feel guilty about that at all. Because he was a nut bar last night. Right. And it was like, right. I don't feel guilty for having that little thought of WTF, what did I do? Like, that's just a thought I had. I'm not going to feel guilty about it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's normal to have that thought.
Yeah. And it's like every time we're like, God, Angus is such a butthole. Like, he opens the fucking door up because he's so goddamn smart and lets his freaking self in. It's like -15. Like, come on, Angus. But then she's instantly like this face. She's pissed off that we call him a butthole and thinks that we're neglecting him. I'm like, he is a fucking butthole. Like, that's it. We love him. We feed him. He gets like A grade everything. And I felt myself like defending myself and like, but all this stuff I do for him is so good. And if I let him freeze his butt off on the steps for 2 minutes because you're here because he jumps all over you and that's not how we train. You're making me feel bad about it. Like, it's not cool. Like, I can't do this anymore.
And here's the next mastery level for you, Presley, that I think you're ready for. Okay, so here's somebody outside of me, and they're saying XYZ to me that creates this feeling of guilt. Yeah. I am the one who can choose to guilt or not. Stay with me. Because it's just a neural pathway and just a training. The mastery level is this person says something, it's like, cool, that's your opinion. I love you. Breathe, 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 breathe. Without anger, without defending, and eventually what will happen is when you hold more of that level of this is just what I do, you'll have less of these people coming in. Because they're just a reflection of the wobble that you're in about holding your worth.
Yeah. And it was like, well, when I had said I would just let her, but I'd still feel like the dart being hit at me. Like every time I'd let her. So I guess I'm hoping that now that I said something, I'm putting myself above it.
Great.
I'm hoping that's what I did. And I didn't just like make myself feel worse.
No, my sense is you did, but here's the next part. If you can let the mental, and it sounds like this is helping Haley as well. If you can let the mental cycle leave your mind, or you keep replaying the tape recorder in your head, that'll help a lot. The second part is you have to like looking at her and saying, what is it, mother-in-law? It's like, wow, thank you for showing me that I have a lot of guilt. Cool. Amazing. Time to heal that. But I'm not going to go looking for next time you're over for you not to do that. I'm just going to show up as me. But if you're showing up still that I'm guilting myself, more to clean up.
Okay. Because that's been like, is she going to fucking say something again? Like, that's okay. So I see that I'm doing that. Okay.
Because you're in the stick figure, not in the circle. Because in the circle, it's like peace is mind. And see, when I'm at peace is mind, like the dog is outside for 5 minutes, no big deal. Dogs
Yeah.
are wild animals. They're like, you know what I mean? We've domesticated them. Dogs
Yeah.
outside, and there's no apology for it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stuck in your right shoulder blade, just let go. So it's like,
Yeah.
no, that's just the way it is. And it's like holding that for those of us whose middle name is guilt is often the hardest part.
And I think because I was like, I'm just like vulnerable and like in my like period right now, that like it just feels a
Yeah.
lot like I can't hold it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I see it. I feel it.
And
I
to
felt it
top
like
it off,
yesterday.
tomorrow is a full moon, just so you know. Tomorrow, the next day.
Yes, tomorrow. It's funny. Culture's like, Divvy, let me know, yada yada. And I'm like, great. Which day are you gonna choose? Because I knew it was a full moon, and he's like, Thursday. I think. I'm like, yeah, we can work around. I'm like, isn't that funny that the last time
Yeah.
you talked to Divvy, it was a full moon, and now you're
That's so
talking to her
funny.
again on a full moon?
That's
It's like he's
so
just like
funny.
waiting for it. But
Oh,
yes, thank you so much.
thanks. I'm gonna read
Thank
some of these.
you.
I love that. I just gotta read them before I grab yours, Denise. I love the new haircut. You got some compliments, Presley, for you. Presley, you look stunning today. You love your new haircut. So that's for you. Some love. Denise, you wrote, this week was tough. I feel better yesterday. Something changed. Felt joy after a long time. Beautiful. Today was lost initially, but calmer and better now. Interesting to experience Isis. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Denise, for that reflection. And this is the journey, right? Where some weeks, and so when those weeks are tough, when I look at Anissa, I'm just like, okay, that's just the stick figure, something that wants to heal in that stick figure. Does that make sense? So then you have more of this almost, I'll give you a word, like relative or perspective, because sometimes we have tough weeks. We're like, oh, I did something wrong. Oh, something bad's happening. Like, does that make sense? And then that gives the stick figure more ammo. Versus like, okay, the universe, and this is, and if you ask anyone who's hung out with me for a while, they'll tell you that the universe is like delivering to your doorstep stuff you have to heal. But when we're hanging out with me, what happens is it comes a little faster. It's like, no, enough of this being hard on yourself. Enough. But then it's a delivery to your doorstep, like you're in a hotel room. It's like, here's room service. So rather than thinking you did something wrong or the world is against you, it's like, okay, what in the six figures thought system is ready to shift and heal? So, and do you see how much more power you have to that? Rather than, okay, does that make sense? And that is some, and so what happens at first, and I know a lot of them can relate to this, at first it feels like this, but then it gets a lot less like, and it gets a lot more like this. Oh, and then you just start going out. You hold more of that joy and love and freedom, despite a dog staying awake up all night. I'm joking. But it's like you work through the stick figures thought systems and go, okay, got it, cool. This is just, but if we don't do the work, then it's just like this downward cycle. Right. And we all know that. I don't have to give girls for that. So, does that help a bit? Okay, cool. I'm feeling the Fleetwood Mac vibes, right? So Presley, okay. Any other comments or anything before we wrap? Yeah, Michaela.
It's funny that Isis came through today because I do this thing with red wine and lotus petals, and I pressed it last night, and that's what ancient Egyptians drink. And I tried like a small amount of it, and I was up all night. Like it was way stronger than I usually make. So it was like way too potent. But it's just interesting that Isis came through today.
I thought it was crazy because when I took you to the meditation, she showed up, and I do this thing sometimes when I'm working. I'm like, I argue with them, like, really, I don't have a picture of you. She's like, talk about it like she doesn't talk like that. She's just like, keep saying, bring me in, bring me in, bring me in. I want to take away their guilt. So I'm like, okay. And so yeah, I thought it was funny that she came in too, because I know Presley and Chuck, and I'm sure other people who are here, I can't remember who's here, were in my workshops where she ran the workshops. And she hasn't popped in a while. So I thought that was fun too.
It's a nice surprise.
No surprise.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a bit of a closing meditation. Let's close our eyes for a second, take a breath. Go back to our heart. Feeling a slow breath in and a long breath out. Finding the inner temple of sanctuary. And the stronger you make it, the easier it is to work with. And taking Isis into our hearts. And taking the love of this collective group of live or recorded people who showed up. And feeling this I'll say one or two more things. As we move through our days, we might run into some wonkiness. Remember, this is an energy field. You have to think about it, put your hand back into the energy, and then you can end up right back here. Take a few more breaths. And when you're ready, go up here. Nice work, guys. So I'm going to be doing another one next Wednesday at 5. It's going to be different. It won't be the same content, apparently. So it'll be different, so you know. And then the week of the 17th, I'll probably do one. I may not do one on the 24th. I might do one on the 23rd. But just keep your eye open on school. I'll put them all there. And I'm going to make it so you don't have to register on Eventbrite. I discovered today I can just put the link for Zoom on school. Discover that. So I'll just put it on school, and you just go into the calendar and go there, and you'll see the Zoom link. Can that make sense? So don't worry about registering. I'll stick it on there. Sounds good. The benefit of registering is you get the email, but you'll get the email through school. So I discovered that this morning. So. All right. Thank you all for showing up live. It was so great to see you and sending you so much love. And I'll post this later on today. Have the best day. Enjoy ISIS, guys. Take care.